The woman suing former Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema for allegedly interfering with her marriage is headed to federal court this week.
The case involves Sinema, her former bodyguard Matthew Ammel and Ammel's ex-wife Heather. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadalang is back after speaking with a North Carolina lawyer, which is where the trial is, ahead of tomorrow's hearing. Tiani?
Mark Grube, Sinema isn't denying that she had a sexual affair with Matthew Ammel while he was married. Instead, her attorneys argue there isn't enough of a connection between her and her actions in North Carolina for a case under the so-called Homewrecker law to move forward. The legal battle involving former Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, her former bodyguard Matthew Ammel, and Ammel's ex-wife Heather dates back to late 2025. Heather Ammel sued Sinema in North Carolina under the state's unique Homewrecker law, which allows spouses to sue the person who broke up their marriage. Sinema isn't disputing that she had a sexual relationship with Matthew while he was married. Court filings say that relationship became physical in Napa, California in May of 2024, with encounters later in New York, Washington, D.C., Aspen, and Phoenix. But tomorrow's hearing centers on a different question. Did Sinema have enough contact with North Carolina for a federal court there to have personal jurisdiction over her?
There will be a hearing to determine whether or not Senator Sinema had enough contacts with North Carolina, the state, meaning physically, or there are other ways that you can do that, which we'll talk about in a second, that it would be fair for her to anticipate being held into a court and sued in North Carolina.
The court record says there is no evidence Sinema and Matthew Ammel had in-person romantic contact in North Carolina before the Ammels separated. So a major question is whether the former senator directed communications or other interactions toward Matthew while he was in North Carolina.
The state can hold you into court as having jurisdiction over you because you directed your actions at someone or something in the state of North Carolina.
The plaintiff in this case says she saw several communications between Sinema and Matthew, but testified she couldn't always determine where her former husband was when he received them. One example, a photo Heather says Sinema sent of her wrapped in a towel with cupping marks on her back. But there is one conversation Heather says she knows happened while Matthew was in North Carolina. During President Biden's 2024 State of the Union address, court documents say Matthew messaged Sinema asking why she wasn't there. Heather testified Matthew was sitting right next to her in North Carolina when Sinema responded. Sinema's attorneys argue that conversation was political, not romantic. But as far as what could come out of tomorrow's hearing, legal experts say this.
She's going to have to answer the complaint formally if she's not already, meaning she's going to have to respond to the allegations and say whether or not she thinks they're true or not, and whether or not she has defenses that she will present in front of them to try and avoid these claims.
Now, the judge will decide whether Sinema has enough of a connection to North Carolina for this case to continue there. Live in studio, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
All right, Tiani, thank you.